Welcome to Financial Health for Noobs. I'm your host, Rashad. This channel is dedicated to you to help you better understand your finances, money, what money is, and how money actually works and how it can be advantageous for you should you choose to use it right and go down the right avenue and use the right resources. Around this time last year, I had a channel, Crypto for Noobs. So if this channel sounds familiar, I'm the same host, Rashad. But during my journey, I realized that Crypto for Noobs was too narrow of a range, that not a lot of people knew about crypto. And the people who did know about crypto, they knew very, very little about it because they really didn't understand the inner workings of it, the terminology, the actual technology associated with it, and things of that sorts. With the implosion of like FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, that scandal, and then earlier last year we had Terra Luna with Do Kwon with his exchange that blew up, and then we had like billions of dollars of hacks. So I realized, and I was listening to the people in the comments that came in on my videos, that not a lot of people understood it and that I wasn't touching the audience that I needed to. So it got me to thinking, like, what can I do to actually help people, and what is going to actually help people, and with something that they can use every day of their lives, financial health. Because all of us know about finances, we know about money, aka fiat, what it's really called, and spending it and things, but do we really know how it works, and do we really know how to be resourceful with it in order for us to have an easier life? A lot of us don't. We weren't taught that, but that's okay. I wasn't taught that either. I had to learn the hard way, but I'm here for you. I'm here to help your life get better because I was once down where we didn't have anything and I didn't know anything, and I wished to God and I prayed to the universe that somebody would help us, and it wasn't until we helped ourselves, or we started reading books and we got put in the right direction. So since we helped ourselves, it wasn't until then until we got better. So I'm here to help you, and my best effort, put my best foot forward, doing the best of research as I can, citing sources, things of that nature, to make sure you have the most credible information that is going to help you along your financial journey, so that way you can discover some resources that you thought might not be possible. Okay, so this first series of videos is going to be about credit. And the very first video I'm going to do is going to be about the difference between a FICO score and a VantageScore. We all know about credit. We think we do. We know how to swipe the card and pay the bill and credit go up. But do we really know how it works and what makes our credit go up and what can affect our credit? We really don't. Unless we really like take a course or a class or read about it ourselves, in which me and my wife have done, because at one point in time we had a 450 credit score and it just wasn't cool. We lost our jobs, had to move back from Texas. We had hella credit cards, and yeah, I don't recommend getting a new credit card every month, you guys. Let me just tell you that right now. 2 or 3 is all you need. Capital One is a really, really good company to work with. Other than that, I don't recommend getting a lot of cards. So the first video, this video is going to be the difference between a FICO score and a VantageScore. A lot of people see Credit Karma and they say, yeah, I have a 650 credit score, not knowing that generally that is your VantageScore. Now, while a VantageScore and a FICO score are similar, they are different. And that's due to simpler measures, how being weighted and how they're constructed, things of that nature. But we're going to get through that so that way you can understand. Okay, so your credit score is a financial snapshot that evaluates your credit risk at any given time. That's what your credit score is. It determines whether you're going to pay your bills on time, how late you might pay your bills or you might not pay your bills, how many bills you actually have, debt to income, things of that nature. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the FICO score, which is the Fair Isaac Corporation. Now, the FICO score is generally what lenders tend to look at, not your VantageScore. So if you ever go get a car, they're going to look at your FICO score, and it might say like FICO score 8 or FICO score 6 or something in that nature. The design objective of the FICO scores was to gauge an individual's credit worthiness. Again, that's to gauge how worthy you are in order for them to extend you money, loan, credit, like AKA a credit card, personal loan, maybe like a Macy's card, things of that nature. The ranges are from 300 to 850. We all know if you have a 300 credit score, you should be watching this video and many, many more, because you shouldn't be doing anything else. Like, seriously, if you have an 850, you have excellent credit. You don't have anything to worry about. Your credit worthiness is non-questionable. Anything in between that, it can be worked on, but it's not bad. Actually, about a 625 is, I think, about average or general from what I have seen. Now, I did the report. We're going to read through this, so I don't really know like what the actual average is, so we're going to find out, because I had to do a lot of research with this, y'all. I wanted to comb through, and I wanted to make sure, again, that you guys got the most credible information that I could possibly find from things like Experian, Equifax, Forbes, places that deal with money and credit. You know, I'm not going to go to Reddit or anything like that and ask and research about credit like that. That would be asinine. Okay, calculations. It is based on your history with loan payments, total amount of debt, length of credit history, types of credit in use, and recent applications for credit. An average score. According to Experian, one of the most credible and reliable sources of credit for information. I don't know about that, but again, I did research and look it up, and that's what they're saying. The average FICO score in the United States is a 700. Damn, a 700? The average FICO score is a 700 in the United States. I don't know if that's true right now, especially with the times we're going through. I might want to dispute that and say it's more like a 650, man, because people just not like, money is tight right now. So, okay, a 700. Huh. I'm at like a 625, so I'm not too far off. Not too far off, y'all. 625 is decent, especially when you're rebuilding it. It's taking some time. Again, I wanted to learn about the things, I want to learn about the things that help build my credit up. So I'm not too much in a rush of like trying to get it up there real quick, you know, slow and steady wins your waist. Also, the FICO Corporation is a publicly traded company and or entity. Let that sink in. The company that deals with your credit is a publicly traded company. That means at some point in time, they offered an IPO on the stock market. I'm gonna have to look into that, y'all. I'm really have to look into that, because again, we did the research, and it's not till now you're like, wait a minute, okay. All right, so let's talk about the VantageScore. Remember, I talked about the FICO score and the VantageScore. Now, the VantageScore is something that you more commonly hear about, especially with like Credit Karma. And there's another one around that shows you your credit, like just kind of like instant. I forget the name. I think it's like Sesame. I think it's like Sesame Credit Sesame or something like that. They use more, their scoring model is more based off of VantageScore. And again, VantageScore and FICO score are similar, but they are different. And I'm going to get into VantageScore, how it's different. Now, the design objective for the VantageScore is to provide a second measure of an individual's creditworthiness based on their recent credit behaviors. And they also range from a 300 to an 850 on their scoring model as well. Now, up until about a year or two, maybe 3 years ago, their scoring model was vastly different. Theirs was from a 551 to a 900. I didn't understand it. I think a lot of people didn't understand it. So I think that's why the new Vantage scoring model 3.0 and 4.0 has adopted the FICO scoring model, because it's just a lot easier to gauge. And if you're looking on Experian or Equifax or something like that, and you see you have a 650, and then you go to a Vantage scoring model, wherever the case may be, and you're like a 991 or a 6, like what? It's just different. Like this is different. Like I understand the difficulties that they face, so I can see why they changed the scoring model. It just makes it easier for everybody, especially for the lenders. It doesn't make things so difficult. Calculations. They also calculate factors like loan payments, total debt, available credit, trends in credit utilization, number of inquiries, and age of accounts. Now, their average score, according to TransUnion, another renowned source for information. Now, remember, these are coming from the actual credit score bureaus. The the average Vantage score for individuals in the U.S. is 673. 673 average score for a Vantage versus a FICO is a 700. That's a 27-point difference. That could be the determining factor in whether you get like a 4-point APR car loan, or maybe even an 8.0 car loan. So 27 points can be a big difference. Man, that's a lot. Yikes. Okay, the ECOA, which is the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, Equal Opportunity Compliance, they are what measures. They are who the three bureaus have to go through to make sure that you're able to get credit extended to you. I will go into another video on that later. The ECOA is something different. There's a whole bunch of federal statutes and complaints or compliances or compliances, is that what it is, that they have to go through before they can extend you credit. Now, geez, Lord, VantageScore, y'all, ooh, brain fart. VantageScore was founded by Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax in 2006. So as you can see, they vastly differ from FICO, whereas FICO is a publicly traded company. VantageScore was founded in 2006 again by TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. So there's the difference between the Vantage and the FICO. Now, the minimum scoring criteria vastly differs for both. Now, this is where I think FICO outshines Vantage. So for a FICO score and the minimum scoring criteria, in order for it to show up on your report, you have to display a trend line of credit that is a minimum 6 months of age. One trend line in credit must show up on your, a minimum of at least one trend line on your report must show some activity in the last 6 months. So that's the minimum scoring criteria for a FICO score. You have to have like a credit card, a line of credit, a trend line of credit, and it has to be a minimum on there for 6 months. 6 months minimum, at least one trend line, which is a credit card, like a Capital One card, a Macy's cards, things of that nature. Now, for a VantageScore is vastly different, and it's a lot easier. For a VantageScore to show up on your report, all you need to do is have one trend line on your report, regardless of the age of the account. Regardless of the age. So you could go out and apply for a credit card today, and tomorrow it's going to show up on your VantageScore as a trend line, but it won't show up on your FICO score for another 6 months. So that's the difference. And I think FICO, I think it's a lot better because 6 months allows a person or individual to show a pattern of credit worthiness or establish a pattern, like either they're going to pay, either they're going to be on time, or they're like always late, or they're sometimes late. I think that's more fair for lenders, and I think that's why more lenders typically tend to use a FICO score, because a FICO score is more hard and concrete than a VantageScore. As you can see, a VantageScore, all you need is one trend line. You go get a credit card, boom, now you've got a VantageScore. But with a FICO score, you have to do a little more, and you have to put a little more into it. So overall, they both are similar in scope and range, but they differ in how they calculate scores. So a scenario, you could have a 680 and you're applying for, let's say, an Amazon card through for FICO. That's cool. Now, that same 680, you might need a 690 if they were using VantageScore. Like, does that see what I'm saying? Like, it's the different, they're weighted different. So I'm kind of biased towards FICO, as you can see. It gives you more data, more input about the person than you can with a VantageScore. And I think that's where people tend to get things confused. They see Credit Karma and they're like, oh, I have this 675 credit score, but that's a VantageScore. And I think it says it at the top. It says VantageScore like 3.0 at the top, versus where if you go on like Experian and you look at your stuff, it's going to tell you your FICO score. It's going to say, like, my FICO score says like 625 FICO card 8 or something like that. I think something of that nature. But that's the difference. So to sum it up, a FICO score and a VantageScore is a 3-digit number ranging from 300 to 850 that is used to gauge your credit worthiness. No, I retract that. FICO score is a 3-digit number ranging from 300 to 850 that is used to gauge your credit worthiness, while a VantageScore is also a 3-digit number from 300 to 850 that offers another measure of credit worthiness based on your recent credit behaviors. All right, so that is the difference between a FICO score and a VantageScore. There's no problem with checking Credit Karma to see what you might be, and that's kind of generalization. Never go off of what's like Credit Sesame or Credit Karma. Use things like Equifax has their own. You can do a free credit reports like freecreditreport.com. If you have a Capital One card, they have CreditWise that checks it for you. I know Experian, they have an app. At first it's free, I think, for like a week. 7 to 10 days you get a free trial. Then after that's like $19.90 a month for like their basic plan. But it helps. You can lock your identity. You get all 3 credit bureau reports and things of that nature. So just keep that in mind, you guys, that while FICO and VantageScores are similar, they are not the same, and that most lenders typically use a FICO score to gauge your credit worthiness, or whether they're going to lend you any money, or for a car, or even from a bank mortgage, or whatever the case may be. Okay, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Again, my name is Rashad. This series is to help you guys get a better understanding of your of your finances, and to be more financially intelligent, because we all need to be more financially intelligent and know how to learn how to make our money work for us, not against us. So again, my name is Rashad. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. I appreciate y'all. Check me back here in about 7 to 10 days. And my next video is going to be on payment history, which is 35% of your credit snapshot portfolio, and makes up the biggest part, of whether or not you can get credit lent to you or not. So I appreciate y'all dropping by. My name is Rashad for some of y'all. I hope y'all have an amazing day. I'm out. Until then, be financially intelligent.